Christine Persichetti. It's an annual celebration of love and fidelity in the Diocese of Brooklyn. Bishop Robert Brennan will celebrate the Anniversary Mass, which honors married couples across Brooklyn and Queens and their commitment to each other. And one Brooklyn couple who's been through all the ups and downs marriage has to offer says they never pass up a chance to recognize their love. Current News' Jessica Easthope has their story from Windsor Terrace.
I still remember this song. I'll never forget it. 1 in a million, you are.
Millie and Fred Fulford said back in 1980, friends and family called them brave for entering into an interracial marriage.
It's kind of nice to go back and relive it.
It wasn't easy all those years ago.
My mother got a lot of flack for that from the Spanish community of older women. You know, like, how could you let your daughter marry a black man?
And still isn't today.
When we go into the store, when my wife goes up to the cashier and I go up to the cashier next to her, they say, "Sir, could you step back?"
Yeah, right.
And I'm saying, I'm with her. I've been with her for 40-something years.
But that never mattered to them, especially when their love story started nearly 50 years ago in the Gowanus housing projects. Early on in their relationship, instead of letting in hate, they let in Christ.
Faith has just been like sort of the foundation of our marriage and really working through those really difficult times.
Through decades together and raising a son, there were some difficult times. Parishioners of St. Agnes Church, Millie and Fred, have worked with the kids of the community for decades and eventually married couples, telling them your marriage and your faith will be tested.
I call them the ebbs and flows of marriage. Anyone that tells you it's a straight line or everything's been great, that's just not the reality. The church was really, to me, the most important part.
Millie and Fred want to be an example, not of a perfect marriage, but of an imperfect love. One that's endured even the most tragic of circumstances.
We were actually separated for like 6 months. I had a miscarriage.
Right at that time.
And that just really blew the roof off of everything.
But we managed to fight back. With God in our life, it made it that much easier to deal with the situation.
Looking back at it, Millie and Fred know now the real bravery wasn't getting together. It was staying together. In Windsor Terrace, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
The Diocesan Wedding Anniversary Mass will happen next Saturday, September 23rd at St. Thomas Aquinas Church. That's at 1550 Hendrickson Street in Flatlands, Brooklyn. The Mass will begin promptly at noon, and Bishop Brennan will be the main celebrant. The hardworking employees of the Diocese of Brooklyn kicked off their new pastoral year today. Whether this was their first year or their 50th, they all agree the Mass helps to set the tone for their work serving God's people. Current News' Katie Vasquez reports on the Mass at the Immaculate Conception Center in Douglaston, Queens.
A new school year also means a new pastoral year for those who work for the Diocese of Brooklyn and to inspire those who serve the faithful of Brooklyn and Queens. Bishop Robert Brennan brought them all here to the Immaculate Conception Center in Douglaston, Queens to kick off the pastoral year with the Lord. Bishop Robert Brennan celebrated the Mass with the 27 diocesan offices. The more than 100 employees, who include both clergy and lay people, are in charge of different aspects of the diocese, including vocations, evangelization, and interreligious dialogue. While their work may be different, Bishop Brennan and Vicar at the Secretariat for Evangelization and Catechesis, Father Joseph Jabino, say this Mass and the luncheon that follows helps them start this new pastoral year united in Christ.
To have Mass together, that's the heart of who we are, and to pray together, and that reconnects us with our mission. That people do all kinds of work, but we're all involved in advancing the mission of the church.
We gather together to be nourished on the Eucharist, then we gather to break bread together, and it really unites us in heart and mind in the pastoral mission of the church.
During the Mass, Bishop Robert Brennan looked to the future, asking everyone to pray for good weather for a huge upcoming diocesan event, the celebration of the Eucharistic Revival, scheduled for October 7th at Maimonides Park. In Douglaston, Queens, Katie Vasquez, Currents News.
You can be a part of that Eucharistic revival event that Katie mentioned. For more information, just go to the diocese's website, dioceseofbrooklyn.org, and search Eucharistic Revival. Today marks the first day of Hispanic Heritage Month, a time when people around the country honor diversity and highlight the experiences and contributions of the Hispanic people. In the Catholic Church, Hispanics are often considered the future of the faith, with the group making up almost half of all U.S. Catholics. And a quarter of parishes across the country have developed some form of Hispanic ministry. Looking at the numbers even further, there are more than 63 million Hispanic people in the U.S., and 31 million of them identify as Catholic. Going even further, 43% of all Catholics in the country are Hispanic. Next Monday marks the start of National Migration Week for the Church in the U.S. The faithful and others are encouraged to reflect on the challenges facing migrants and refugees. In a statement, the chairman of the U.S. Bishops' Committee on Migration, Bishop Mark Seitz, said, "Our faith forces us to help migrants," writing, "Through our belief in Jesus Christ, we are compelled to respond with charity toward those who must uproot their lives in search of refuge. But efforts to manage migration, even when predicated on the common good, require that we also address the coercive forces driving people to migrate." That message comes as New York City is in the midst of a migrant crisis. Now New Yorkers are protesting against the city's emergency shelters.
You can't get any more patriotic than the people who are here tonight and who are making.
Just last night, Curtis Sliwa, founder of the Guardian Angels, led a rally at Floyd Bennett Field in Brooklyn. The federally owned former airfield is set to be the site of a new mega shelter that will house more than 2,000 asylum seekers. Finally tonight, some young people in Alabama are looking to make a positive difference and pay it forward. Meet 8-year-old Libby Barrett. She received $550 for her birthday, and she'll give it all away. The money went toward her school's special education program, which helped buy new bean bags, toys, and more for kids. She says the reason for her donation is simple.
I really wanted these kids in this class to be really happy.
Oh, she's adorable. And this isn't the first time Libby has given back. Her father says she's donated her birthday money since she was 5 years old. Wow, that's amazing. And that is this Currents News Update. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us, because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time.